Welcome to the Unleashed podcast. If you're looking for a no BS approach to building a successful business, then this show's for you. I'm your host, Kristina Sjolund, sharing an unleashed, real straight talk approach to life and business. So buckle up, put on your big girl panties, and let's get started. Hey there, and welcome back to the Unleashed podcast. I'm your host, Kristina Sjolund, and today we're going to be talking about clear vision, because you know why? We are in a new decade. It is 2020, and I want to talk to you about what that really means. Clarity in what you want to go for. We've talked before about vision boards. We've talked about setting your goals. We've talked about organization. These things are tools that help you see clearly. And I want to share with you this quote. And honestly, I can't remember where I got this quote from, but it speaks so much volume. Clarity is momentum that has no resistance. Think about that. Think about, immediately my mind goes to, I'm a very visual person. So when somebody explains something to me, I start picturing it. And if I don't understand something, I need to see it in front of me so that I can make sense of it. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, because it makes me think of murky waters. You know, if you jump in a lake that is, it's definitely not the ocean, in the clear Caribbean Ocean where you can see all the way down to the bottom. But it's that murky water. You can't see where you're going, so it's going to take a while. You're not very comfortable with it. You're not quite sure where to step. I don't know what's in there. I don't know what, you can't see. So that clarity, you create a momentum with that, and you can move forward through anything. You're in that clear turquoise water that you can see straight through. You can see the fish below you. You can see your feet in the sand in there. And you don't have to worry about not knowing what you're going to step on. You don't have to worry what's lurking below that water. Well, maybe you should have to worry about what's lurking below the water if you're not paying attention. But you know what I'm saying. It's that clarity. You can move. You can move faster than what you're going to move if you're in that murky, muddy water, right? So you can create a momentum. And it has no resistance because there's nothing holding you back. When you have your eye on the prize and you have your clear path forward, you've got your plan all made out, you're on it. So what I have learned with the different mentors and trainings that I have taken, I'll set 3 goals and I choose the who, when, why, what, and how I'm going to reach those goals. And so that's my clear path. And so I have that clear vision. I've mapped it out. So that's what I encourage you to do so that you can have that clear path. You can know where you're going. You see that. You've got that clarity, and then you gain that momentum, and there is nothing that's going to stop you. Also, when you think about it, you got a clean, organized desk. Do you know how motivated that makes you feel? I know sometimes it makes me not even want to work at it because I don't want to mess it up. But it's true. When you've got that clean desk, it's all organized. You know where everything's at. You're more proficient. You're more efficient with everything that you're doing. You know where everything's at. You're not searching around through all of the papers. You're not looking all over. Where did my pen go? Does this sound familiar, or does it sound like maybe I'm really all too familiar with this? It's something that I love, having a clean desk. It's hard, but you don't have anything holding you back when everything's in place, right? Now, we're talking about the 2020 and the clear vision and everything. For me, I might not be like a lot of people, and that's okay. I'm totally cool with it, but I'm not one who is big on setting all of those New Year's resolutions. And you know why? I set freaking goals all the time. I set goals every day. So I'm like, okay. And I also set my 90-day goals. And, we've talked before, I got all the goals in between, but I've got these 90-day runs. I'm like, okay, this is what I want to accomplish in the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. But I don't set those New Year's resolutions and I don't make a big deal about them because I do them all the time. Every day is a new day. Every day you set new goals. And every day you get to start over. It's a new opportunity to start over, to make those goals attainable, to be able to start a path to where you want to be. So if you're not all organized today and ready to go, that's okay, because tomorrow's a new day. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's get your vision mapped out. Let's get that goal in front of you. Write it down. Start working on that. Another thing that I like to do also, and I do this quite often, I'd say every month, maybe, I do a self-audit. It's just part of my business routine, and not everybody will do this, but I always take a self-audit, and I look at the things that I need to keep doing, the things I need to start doing, things I need to stop doing. Some of those are habits that are really hard to break if they are bad habits that are holding you back, and they're those habits that you need to stop. But there's other things that you might need to start that's really hard. It's really hard to start because maybe you don't know how, maybe you got that fear in you. And then there's those things that you keep. So let's talk about that, and I'll explain what I mean here. So the things that you keep. What are the things that work? What are the things that help you grow? Keep reading your books. I'm always training. I'm always collecting all of that knowledge, that information, because I'm going to implement it into my business because I want to constantly be growing. I feel that if I stop growing, my business is going to stop growing. I'm going to turn stagnant. I don't like that. I'm not that couch potato. I'm not that person who just sits back and collects a check on, hanging on other people's backs. I'm in the trenches. I'm working. And I feel like you need to be doing exactly what you're expecting other people to do, right? What you're telling other people to do. If you're a trainer, if you're not doing what you're training people to do, then you're being a hypocrite. So you're just being a manager. It's that's what I see of that. Mentors. I look to those trainers. I pick and choose. Now, there are things I don't like to follow too many mentors all at once because some of them have, they've got their own way of doing things, and maybe it conflicts with somebody else that I follow. So I take what fits my personality and what fits my way of doing my business, and I implement that. But I'm always investing in my own trainings. I'm always investing in learning more. I'm always on a personal growth journey, constantly. Personal relationship building, personal growth. Those are all these things that you need to keep. Those are the things that work. Those are the things that help you grow. What are the things that you are going to start? So you're just going to picture this. I have a list, my keep, and then I start my next list and I label it start. So things that bring you forward. Maybe there are things that you're not doing yet that you really need to start doing. One of the things that's on my list to learn is LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's huge. It's a huge social media platform for professional business people. If you want to grow your business, you want to grow your business connections, you want to grow that network, that's where you need to be. So that's on my list. That's what I'm going to start. Another thing, personal growth again. If you're not doing personal growth, then you need to start doing that personal growth. Daily gratitude, huge. I talk about it probably every single podcast. I do daily gratitude every single day. I set daily goals. I have a list every single day of things that I need to do, and I bust through that list. Find a mentor. Find somebody to train from. Find somebody who you can learn from. Invest in yourself. I hear this all the time. There are business people, okay? I'm using those air quotes. There's business people. They want to expand their business. They want to know more. They want to grow, but they're not willing to invest any money in themselves. And I remember, I get it, guys. I absolutely get it, but really, it might be a big cost now, but it's really an investment. It's an investment in yourself. So find something. If there's a course out there for maybe $197, that's $197 that you're going to get back. If you learn from what that trainer teaches you and you can turn that into profit, you can roll that training into your business to grow it, to expand, you're going to get that money back tenfold, probably more. And I know that back when I was broke all the time, I did not want to pay for squat. I did not want to pay for anything. I was like, oh my God, it's not free. Give me some free. Well, let me tell you, free is going to get you a little bit, but not always what you need, and definitely not enough of it. There are some things that maybe, I find those $47 little trainings that, might be an hour or a couple of hours. And then I don't even want to talk about how much I've spent on some of I've gone on these mastermind retreats, but I'm not kidding you. Those investments in myself have paid off. If I didn't make those small investments, well, a couple of them pretty big. If I didn't make those investments, I would not be sitting here in front of this microphone speaking into your ear. Okay, these are the things that helped me grow. These are the things that moved me beyond where I was. These are the things that made me grow past where I was. They helped me see that clear goal in front of me. Like, hey, that's what I want. Okay, so now I've got to map this out. And then here I am. I'm on this podcast, and this podcast is only the beginning. My story's only just begun. It is not even close to over. Learn from everything. You know what? I have spent money on mentors, on trainings that I didn't get anything from, or I didn't click with the trainer. And it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm grateful for it because out of everything, I try to learn something. I look for whatever kind of a lesson. I'm like, okay, well, that was not worth my money. However, I did get this. Or how many connections did I make? Another thing to start, organizing. If organization is a challenge for you, it's something that you should start working on. Put that on your start list. Put that on that list that you're like, okay, I got to get this. Maybe you have, instead of one big, huge pile, maybe you have little compartments, those little stack racks that you can put your papers on, or maybe you put your bills in there, bills that are paid, bills that are not paid. If you start organizing your things, then you're going to feel better. You're not going to have that stress over you. You're not going to have that cloud over your head all the time. And it helps you to lift. It helps you to concentrate. It helps you to grow. It helps with your clarity. It just comes right down to that, right? Now, time blocking. That's something that I struggle with sometimes because things come at me all day long. I'm being thrown curveballs left and right. And this was something that I really had to start to accept and work with, especially when I started working from home. So I remember several years ago, I worked in the salon industry. You work with all kinds of different personalities. And we took this training where they talked about different personalities and different, what did they call them? There were different personality types and how to be able to talk to each one. And so that you also knew what these people, how their thought process was. I'm the type of person where I get out of bed. I have a plan for my day. I've got everything what they describe as in boxes. So I've got all my boxes stacked up here and they're all in order. And I check off my boxes of everything that I'm going to do throughout the day. Well, sometimes my boxes get moved. Well, it used to totally throw me off. And now I have really had to concentrate and start adjusting my way of thinking to where I'm like, okay, so this is not going to happen right now. I'm going to have to move this box over here. And now I work with this one. And sometimes, I'll tell you, somebody comes in and kicks all my boxes all over the place, right? that'll get me spun up. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm not going to BS you. It gets me spun up for a couple of minutes. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to organize my boxes and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do when, and I have to rearrange my day. But it took so much work. But I'm so glad that I was able to learn how to do that. I still have work to do at it. I work from home and my kids go to school. Well, how many times have they forgotten a lunch? Or, one of them's sick. I got to go pick one up, and these things happen. So you got to learn how to work with them. So that was one thing that was on my start list quite some time ago, and I still work at it, but I am so much better at it, and I don't get that spun up feeling, and I'm, sweating and cranky and freaking out, right? Now, another thing that I work on all the time is blocking my time. When you block your time, that goes straight back to that clarity part. Like when you block your time and you have on your planner everything, you got your boxes all in line, it gives you clarity of what you're going to do. It gives you clarity of how your day is going to go. If somebody calls you and they need, they're trying to make an appointment with you at 3:00 and you're like, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm going to have to check. Okay, but if you've got that on your schedule and it's down there, all you have to do is look at your schedule. And you're like, yeah, I can do 3:00. When you're time blocking or in your mind, no, you know what? From 2 to 4, I'm with my kids after school for soccer or whatever it is. That time blocking, when you know what you have going and what you're dedicated to, that gives you all the clarity as far as your time goes. Okay, this is a big one. This is a huge one. Positive self-talk. How many struggle with that? How many people beat themselves up all the time? And maybe you don't even beat yourself up. Maybe you just kick yourself a little bit. You know what I do? I am always like, oh, I didn't do enough. Am I doing enough? Should I do more? Did I bring enough food over to the neighbor's house for that party? Did I do enough? Did I entertain the kids enough when they had a sleepover? I mean, these are things that are always going through my head. And then I'm like, God, that really sucked. You know what? I'm sorry that I was so boring. And then it's like, wait a minute. I can't think like that. I don't think like that. So that positive self-talk, you got to start telling yourself positive things, because if I know good and well that the people who are listening to this probably have somebody in their lives that have talked down to them. You've been talked down to. It really gave you a sense of insecurity. Maybe it's the slightest of insecurities, but somebody said something to you that made you not so sure of yourself. So it's something to really, you have to start forgiving, because whatever was said to you wasn't about you. What was said to you was them projecting their limitations or their negative thoughts of themselves. They were projecting those onto you. And that has been a very long process for me to get those things out of my head. I was told, and how do I say this? Years ago, I wanted to be a massage therapist. I thought, man, that would be so cool. I thought that would be great. It was affordable as far as training and school went. I really wanted to do it. I was told by someone incredibly close to me, you'd never be able to do it. There's so much to know. It's so deep. What else was there? You've got to know all of the bones and all of the muscles. You are not going to be able to hang with it. And I was like, wow, thanks for believing in me. That stuck with me for a very long time. And in fact, sometimes it creeps into my head every once in a while. But I have done a lot of those personal conversations, those self conversations. And I'm like, I'm kind of a badass. I could have been a massage therapist, but that talk changed my mind into going a different direction. I went into skincare and I was pretty freaking awesome. I can wax some badass eyebrows. Okay. So did I change my direction? Yes, I did, because somebody else projected something onto me, but I made the best out of it. And then I turned into the best that I could possibly be. And even, let me see, how old am I? I'm not going to say online. I'm kidding. I'm 46. I have been a licensed esthetician for 22 years now. This year will be my 22nd year of being a licensed esthetician. I'm proud of it. I know I do a damn good job. And I have been able to share what I learned all the way back then. I've still been able to, help people grow with that. So that was probably a long story about something that may not be relevant. However, if you've got somebody whispering those or saying plain and clear, those negative things to you, telling you that you can't do something, oh my gosh, don't even pay attention to them. Don't even pay attention to them. You don't need that crap in your life, okay? Positive self-talk, you rock, okay? And you write down those daily gratitude and the goals that you have, you're going to change your attitude for the day. It gets you on a positive note. Make big goals. If you don't have big goals, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to make it to work on time today. I'm going to pay that one bill on time. Okay, well, these aren't big goals. Get a big freaking goal. Get a goal that is like, you know what? You're going to own it. I thought a podcast was crazy. I'm just going to say it. I thought a podcast was crazy. And I really was thinking that was a big goal. Big goals can be anything. My goal, really, all the time, I want to change as many lives. I want to impact as many lives as humanly possible. And now I want to do it on a daily basis. That's what I want to do. Celebrate all your wins. These are the things that you need to start. Celebrate all your wins. This is something that I struggle with. I don't celebrate all of my wins. Not all of them. I'm just like, oh yeah. But then when I'm talking to my kids, I'm like, that's awesome. They'll tell me something that they got a good score on their math test or something. I'm like, sweet, let's go celebrate. I celebrate other people's wins. But you know what, you guys? I need to celebrate mine, and so do you. You need to celebrate your own wins as well. And putting your value, your self-worth, all into you, not into somebody else, because they don't matter. It's your self-worth is within you, and you need to be sure of where you are at. It's you that matters, nobody else. Things you need to stop. Well, some of those, I kind of use that, right? Stop playing small. Stop playing small. When we talk about those big goals, make those big goals. Do you have to hit them right now? No. But you can have big goals. Don't be afraid to dream too big, because you can get there. You just have to have that vision. You just have to have that map. You got to have that playbook to get there. And then you got to do the action. Stop putting all of your value and your self-worth into somebody else. That's just what we just talked about, that you need to have it within yourself. So stop putting it into someone else, because it's not gaining anything over there. You're actually losing. It costs you to have your self-worth into somebody else. It costs you. It's like they're taking interest on it, right? And it just drains you. You need to stop the self-deprecating talk and that self-deprecated thinking. So, how do you feel about, or, when your kids say something negative about themselves? I'm so stupid. What do you say to them? how do you talk to your kids when they say those things to themselves? That's what you need to be like. You need to stop doing that, and you need to take that self-talk and that I can't stuff or I'm so stupid or whatever. Get rid of that. Burn that all up. Today, why don't you, as soon as you get off this podcast, why don't you write down the different things that you're going to keep in your life, the things that you're going to keep in your business? What are you going to keep doing in your business that helps you grow? What are you going to start doing? What are those things that really would benefit you, that really would make a difference in growing your business? What are you going to start? Make that list. What are you going to stop? Those things that keep you from reaching your goals, those things that keep you from reaching your potential and becoming your best self. Write those down. Make sure you keep those in front of you. And maybe you go through like what I do. Maybe you go through that every month. And then maybe you see different things throughout the month that you pick up, that you maybe learned from a training that you took or something that you heard somebody say, and you start implementing that. Or maybe it's something that you recognize that, oh, I do that and that doesn't help me any, right? So these are the things. I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to really start implementing things that make you grow, things that make you get to that next level, because that's what it's about. It's about unleashing your best self, okay? So thanks again for listening today. I appreciate you, and I look forward to having you on the next episode of Unleashed. Take care, you guys, and God bless. Thank you for joining me today on the Unleashed podcast. My hope is that you leave this podcast feeling inspired, fired up, and ready to take the next step to living your dream life. And if you could do me a quick favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. I love reading the reviews, and each week I'll choose one special person to win some Unleashed swag. Make sure you add your name to the review, and I'll reach out to you if you're the winner. Thanks again for spending your time with me today. Be sure to visit me at KristinaUnleashed.com for past episodes and more gifts to help you unleash the most successful version of you.